The mass mortality of the fish, especially the triggerfish on the east coast, is caused by the fresh water brought by the East Indian coastal current. During the southwest monsoon, the East India coastal current, which flows along the east coast, is directed towards Bay of Bengal head. But when the monsoon changes and the northeast monsoon starts, the East India coastal current flows southward along the East India and eastern Sri Lanka, then turn southern tip of Sri Lanka to enter into Arabian Sea. This fresh water causes the mass mortality of fish, particularly the triggerfish, which lives on the sea bottom, especially on the coral reefs and boulders. So this is a phenomena happens every year at the end of autumn, or especially on the commencement of the northeast monsoon. However, it varies, the intensity varies depending on the Indian Ocean dipole. During the positive Indian Ocean dipole, the precipitation is much higher, thus the water, fresh water brought by the Brahmaputra, Gangas and Iravatis are very much higher, which flows along the East India and enters into the east coast of Sri Lanka. And this particular species of the fish also lives on the sea bottom on the continental shelf. The continental shelf is narrow at Trincomalee, and it span a little wider when it's towards the southern Sri Lanka. So when the Indian Ocean dipole is positive, especially during this year is an Indian dipole positive year, the precipitation which is very much higher, that brings a huge amount of fresh water that affect the metabolism of the fish, thus weaken the fish so that it starts floating. And when it floats, due to the waves, it washed ashore, and due to the reduced metabolism, they are not able to swim away from the waves. So that causes they to get entangled with the waves and washed ashore. The East Indian coastal current flows along the continental shelf, and the continental shelf, width of the continental shelf varies from place to place. Especially in Trincomalee, the continental shelf is very narrow, and which also have the submarine canyon. And when it goes towards south, especially Particular, the continental shelf is a little wider, about 8 kilometers. So the fish which lives at the continental shelf gets affected because of this fresh water and causes the mass mortality of them.